Hi, and we're back with an episode of What's Cookin' Rutland. And my name is Grace Davy. I work for the Rutland County Parent-Child Center. And Bethany is not here this month, which is probably the first time in all of history. So we also have Donna Hunt here, hosting, as you remember from many episodes.
Yes, I'm back. I'm a registered dietitian and diabetes educator, and I work at the Rutland Region Diabetes and Endocrinology Center, which is a clinic of the hospital.
Yeah. Great. So we've both done this show with Bethany before, but we've never done it without Bethany before. So we're switching it up a little bit. We're going to do a little episode all about really nice spring greens coming out this time of year. And we're featuring, or starring, I should say, this gorgeous, huge head of lettuce from Dutch's Farm. I'm very excited to get into that.
Looks like it's still sitting in the garden there.
Yeah, it does. And then we've got some of Dutch's little microgreens. This is a blend with some of their spicy radish greens, mixed with some arugula greens as well, to give it a little kick. And then we've got a few different things. We were just kind of talk about like a salad roadmap and lots of different things you can put on your salads. Like entree salads are something you can enjoy a different kind every day of the week. So we'll just talk about different ways you can mix and match and just keep yourself really satisfied and feeling good.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So
what do we have here to start with? What have you mixed up?
So this is some fancy lentils called beluga, like caviar lentils. They're not, I mean, they're really, really nice because they hold their shape really well. And they cook in, they're really, really tiny, so they cook in less time, like 20 minutes or something. And they hold their shape, so they're a great salad lentil. I call them my salad. Or like if I want to make a salad, if I mix them with like olive oil and vinegar and some fresh herbs, and then just keep that in the fridge and just pop it on top of whatever greens I have. That's a really nice thing to do.
And lentils, as with any of the different legumes, such as black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, cannellini beans, any of those are just so high in protein and also fiber. They have carbohydrate in them, but the fiber is part of that total carbohydrate, and the fiber is what gives such a feeling of fullness and is just such a great thing to add to a salad to give you both the protein and the carbohydrate and the fiber. And yeah, it's many of those legumes that we can get in, they're just so healthy and good for us for so many different reasons. One of the main reasons, and one of the big things that I think we're going to see so much more in the future in research and whatnot is are the many benefits to the different legumes and how they feed our good, healthy gut bacteria, and just how all that positive, good gut bacteria can impact on so many different chronic diseases and obesity as well, and many different things. So I think that there's going to be a lot more to come about the benefits of probiotics and prebiotics and all of these kind of wonderful things. So bottom line, whole long spiel to what you just said is that it's a great thing wherever you can add any kind of legumes into a salad.
Yeah, I didn't know that about them, that they were a probiotic.
Yep.
So they would boost your immune system too. Oh, cool.
Yep. They help with anti-inflammatory properties and just many different things. So they're a good thing to have, and I recommend just always having either fresh legumes that you've soaked and just have them in the refrigerator, or a can of black beans, kidney beans, whatever, just drained it in the refrigerator, and just always be able to have them handy to just throw in a handful into a salad, into meatloaf, into tomato sauce, into salsa, whatever. Wherever
tomato
you
sauce,
can
I never thought of
throw
that.
them in. Yeah.
So think of them as a condiment, but also like an everyday accessory, kind of.
Yep. And so nutritious and so good for us and so low in fat. They don't have any fat in them, but because of that fiber, it just slows down the digestion of food. So that's why we stay fuller and have more satiety value when we have some legumes into our into our diet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what do you
And
know
they're
about?
cheap.
Yeah,
They're inexpensive. Yeah. So there are all sorts of good things about them.
What do you know about millet?
To be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about millet other than it's one of the less common grains, and wherever we can get more variety of grains in, that's such a beneficial thing. To be honest with you, I don't know that much about millet. Do you know much about it as far as fiber content goes? And
No, I don't know any of those kinds of numbers. I do know it's on par with quinoa in terms of protein. And I like it because it's a lot cheaper than quinoa, and it doesn't have that specific, I love that specific grassy flavor of quinoa. But millet is more like buttery and mellow kind of a grain. But I don't know, like, I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't know the numbers.
And I'm sorry, I didn't look that up beforehand. But
it's one of those super grains. It's like superfoods.
Yeah. And most all of our grains are higher in the B vitamins and in the fiber content. So, yeah, so it's one of those good ones, along with all of the other less refined, the more refined the grain is, just the less nutritional value to it. So, yeah.
But then what about, I know that, everyone's worried about arsenic in rice, and so I've heard people saying recently that they should start using white rice instead of brown rice because it's...
And I've heard that the arsenic levels are so minimal that it's really not a real concern unless you're eating a lot of whole grain rice.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right, and then we were talking about anti-inflammatory, and I also threw some turmeric in this to kind of jazz it up. So that's what that yellow is. It's kind of like my saffron is the turmeric, and that is a great anti-inflammatory spice. And it's not too strong of a flavor, so you don't even notice it.
Yum, and it gives a nice color to it.
It does,
Excellent. So greens, there are so many different greens that you can use for a base for your salad, whether it be this type of, what kind of, do you know what
I think
kind
it's
of
just
lettuce?
an oak leaf.
So whether it be, romaine, whether it be spinach, whether it be arugula, whether it be Swiss chard, any of those different greens, any of our plant-based foods are just so healthy and good for us. Loaded with so many of those different phytonutrients, those different nutrients that help boost our immune system and anti-inflammatory properties and all those different things. So just finding greens that you particularly like. If you can go for a variety of different greens, again, variety is such a important thing. A little bit of everything kind of deal. But can cut it up, can leave it whole, can make wraps. I mean, this kind of
that would be perfect for that.
Of a lettuce leaf would be excellent for making a wrap out of. There's just so many different things, and it's just sort of getting out of that box of the same old, same old. A salad does not have to be the greens and some cut up cucumbers and some cut up tomatoes and red onion. So oftentimes that's what we think of as the salad, but there are just so many different things that you can do with a salad.
Let's do a quick little lettuce leaf roll-up while we're talking about all of our stuff.
That sounds fabulous. So looking at this one right here, let me
Good eye.
grab a plate. And you can put anything that you want to in something like this. Putting a little bit of this kind of a mixture in there, can add some apple cut up, can add some avocados, some cheese, some nuts, so many different things that you can do. So here I've got just the millet and the...
It already looks delicious.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then throw a few nuts in there. If you want to get a little bit of carbohydrate in there, can add in, here's some dried fruit. These are dried mangoes or papayas?
Those are mangoes. Actually, I'm going to cut up these papayas.
Here are the papayas. So dried mango, dried papaya, sliced apples, any number of things that you can put in there. And then just roll it up, and there you've got a fairly low carbohydrate, but loaded with nutritional value, little.
So cute.
Yep.
So
For a
could you
little
make those
fancy-
for breakfast if you had all of your ingredients and then pack them for lunch with the lettuce hold up?
Certainly could.
Or how would
Yeah,
you- could you-
absolutely could. Now, this is a little bit more of a fragile green, so it did break apart a little bit. But there are some other greens. I know Swiss chard is a little bit of a hardier green. Romaine also can put it in the center and then just roll both sides into a romaine leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there are lots of different ways that you can do that. I sort of made a mess out of it now.
I like to make mason jar salads too when I like to bring to work with me. So that's just like taking a large mason jar, putting your dressing in it with, I like to put my fruit in so that if I do oil and vinegar, the fruit kind of plumps up. And then you layer it with the veggies that you don't mind getting wet, like carrots or onions. If you roll with raw onions, I'm more of a scallion lady. But then you just keep layering it. Lettuce is on the top, and then you just dump it out into your bowl that you bring with you. And so you have your salad. It's already dressed and like marinated fruit.
Idea.
And that's a really nice thing to do. I wish I had brought a mason jar.
That is such a great idea. That's an excellent idea. I've never seen that or heard that.
But yeah, I love
Fantastic
just
idea.
like thinking about salad as like lettuce is your plate kind of, or just like building things on, like if you have leftovers, like we were talking about that. Even if this was from a beans and rice wrap you had or something, you could just throw a handful onto a salad. Always have hard-boiled eggs are always nice to have on hand too.
Yeah,
And
so talking about protein that you can add into a salad, hard-boiled eggs, wonderful to always just have some hard-boiled eggs in the
Yeah.
fridge. Cut up a hard-boiled egg, cheeses, leftover chicken from the night before, leftover roast beef, any of those kinds of things. Cheeses, nuts, all of those. Taco salads are another great one.
Yeah.
If you make tacos and have some extra of the meat, can just either throw it in the freezer or reconnoiter it for the next day into a salad. I love to make my easy peasy way of doing a taco salad is just browning some burger, some salsa, a little bit of sour cream mixed into the salsa, just throw that in. If you've got some fresh corn or frozen corn frozen from last August, whatever, throwing some corn in, some black beans in, mix it all together and just warm it, and then just serve it over some romaine lettuce.
Yum.
Crumble a few tortilla chips on top if you want that little bit of crunch to
yes,
it.
crunch is important.
Yeah, and that's quick and that's actually what I'm having for dinner tonight. A quick and easy way of doing a taco salad, and quite healthy with all the variety.
Yes.
But the other thing that's great to add into a salad is tofu. Is getting the firm tofu, really pressing all the moisture out of it, and then cooking the tofu. If you want like a crispy kind of tofu into the salad, can sort of fry it with just a little bit of olive oil and marinate it in whatever flavor you want it to take on, and then put that tofu crumbled up into a salad.
What
Another way
kind of
getting
marinades
protein.
do you make for tofu?
I love lemon. I love like a soy ginger kind of a tofu.
So just fresh ginger and soy sauce?
Yep. Just a little bit of fresh ginger, some soy sauce, maybe some sesame oil, just for some different flavors in there. Also, another one that I particularly like is, because it's just got a light freshness, is rice wine vinegar. And just doing a little rice wine vinegar.
I like that's a
onto
good
the
description.
tofu. It has such a light freshness. And that's a great kind of and actually you don't even really need to make a dressing with it. You can just sprinkle just a little bit of rice wine vinegar right onto some microgreens, and just what a fresh, light kind of a salad that makes. And easy as anything. Can cut up some either fresh or some dried mango into it, and the
Yeah.
mango just goes really nicely with the rice wine vinegar. Just again that lightness.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting because when I do microgreens, I always just put olive oil and salt because they have so much, I feel like there's so much going on in them.
Yep. A lot of
that
flavor.
It's like, yeah, so like I like to make more complicated dressings for like basic greens, but
Yeah.
that
And just
kind of,
rice wine vinegar on that is.
I should
is
try that.
Yummy. Yeah. Is really yummy.
So I made a little dressing here. It's pretty heavy on the herbs right now. I'm gonna thin it down because it will last for a while. But it's just olive oil and vinegar, and then I put some dried tarragon. So whenever I make a salad, I like to do the dressing first so that everything kind of plumps up.
Melds.
Yeah, I like to like let, it's almost like marinating your dried fruit. Because dried fruit can be pretty leathery and tough, but when you chop it up and put it in oil and vinegar, it really flavors that nicely, and it just, it gets meaty in a way almost. I really like that. So I'm just gonna thin out that.
And the herbs that you can put in, I mean, whether it be dried or fresh, basil and tarragon, as you said, and going blank on some of the other herbs that you might want to put in.
Oregano, or mint even.
Mint.
There's mint
yes,
already
mint
up
would
everywhere.
be wonderful added in as well.
Yeah.
Mint and lemon. I don't know if you've ever done a watermelon salad, but doing cut up watermelon and some feta cheese and mint and a little cider vinegar.
That's really good.
And that's a yummy, fresh and light and cool, particularly if it's a hot kind of a day, which
you have
hopefully
cold
someday we'll
watermelon.
get some hot days. But yeah, that cold watermelon, it's,
And that's such a commitment though, like chilling down a watermelon, it requires so much space, and like, I love cold watermelon, but I rarely have it on hand because I'm like.
So just cutting it up and throw it in the fridge.
That's true.
And
That's true.
then it's a little bit smaller, more manageable.
Yep.
Fruit is, other fruits like fresh fruits, whether it be apples, oranges in the wintertime, in the summertime, berries, strawberries, blueberries, all of those things just so great to add into a salad. Again, you want to, so typically our salads are quite low in carbohydrate, but you do want to get some carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is not a bad thing. Carbohydrate is our energy source, so we do need some carbohydrate. And fruits and our whole grains and our legumes are all excellent sources of carbohydrates as far as that healthful, has lots of nutritional value to it.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you have a dehydrator, doing dehydrated berries, whether it be blueberries, strawberries, mango, papaya, any of those kinds of things, particularly while they're in season, strawberries coming into season shortly, and just slicing some up, putting them on the dehydrator, and it just condenses that flavor that much more so. And then when you throw them into some dressing and let them plump up a little bit, it just adds so much flavor to the food, to the salad.
I've done apples, but I've never, it seemed like the apples took so long when I dehydrated them, like days. So how would you do that with strawberries where it wouldn't take that long?
Very thinly slicing them.
Yeah.
Yep, just really
super
thinly
high.
slicing them, and then I would just follow the directions on the dehydrator. But I think the key to any speeding up the dehydration process is really super thin slices.
Yeah. Okay. I did have a lot of little plums that I tried once too, and that was like, I had it running for like a week, and I was like, I gotta call this.
And when it's throwing all that heat out of it, and it's
I mean, I froze them and they were great. But.
And that's the other thing that you can partially dehydrate them and then freeze them. That's another way of doing it. That again condenses that flavor a little bit because of pulling the water out. But then freezing it if you just don't have the time to totally dehydrate it.
Yeah. I'll try that again. All right, now I'm gonna try it again.
Yay. So what do we have here? We have some beets that you started. So She grated the yellow beets a little while ago, and that's really interesting.
It does not look
because it
good.
was a bright yellow,
This
and
is
how
also
that oxidizes.
Yeah, and there's storage. This is a storage beet from like it was sitting all fall. It was ready to oxidize.
It was ready to be oxidized. But having some beets, sweet potatoes, any kind of leftover vegetables, if you've roasted any
Roasted
vegetables,
squash.
roasted root vegetables. Yeah, oh, so yummy to throw into a salad. Having them cold and throw into a salad, can grate them, can just cube them up.
Use them as croutons.
Yeah, exactly. Use them as croutons in place of croutons, and you've got that flavor and the color to add to them. And some of the beets, I don't know if you've seen the beets that have the really cool stripes in them.
Chiyoga?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're so pretty onto a salad.
That would be really nice too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that gives a few ideas for for just winging it with a salad, and coming up with. So would you put this onto the microgreens and then that dressing, or would you do that onto a green like this?
I would
dressing
probably put a little bit on the greens just because I like them to sit with it, and then I do all of my toppings. But I think if I had leftover dressing, I just throw it on here, mix all that up, keep it in the fridge so it's like ready to go for the next one. Then I would add like fresh cucumbers to the next salad and just keep changing it up. Maybe I'd make this more Mediterranean, with like some feta or something.
Feta cheese, Yeah. So
have fun, get creative.
there is a lot of different stuff that you can do with those greens and all sorts of different toppings, and it just depends on what you like. And one thing I encourage people to do is try one thing different once a week.
Oh, I like that.
Or if you can't do it quite once a week, once a month. Try a different fruit or a different vegetable or a different green or a different
recipe.
Recipe, exactly. Just try something new. Couldn't just get out of our same old boxes.
What was your new thing this week? Have you done it yet?
Oh, she stumps me on that. No, I have not done it yet. Have I done it yet? No, I have not done a new thing yet this week.
I just did a spatchocked chicken, which I really liked. It's when you take the the backbone out of the chicken and lay it flat, and then you roast it that way. And it takes like 40 minutes to roast, and the skin's always crispy. And so I've been eating salad like that as a salad topping.
And that's a great.
But that was like a new exciting thing for me.
Wow. So did you take the bone out yourself?
No, I went to the Vermont butcher shop and they did that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But I had tried it myself before. And,
was it
I
delicious?
was like, I'm just going to have them do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's nice to roast a chicken in 40 minutes too. So that was my exciting thing.
Cool.
All right, well,
Do you want to say about the WIC code?
Yes, I don't know if we put the WIC code up yet, but here it is now.
There it is.
So use that code to get your WIC points for the show. And Bethany says hi, and she'll be back soon.
Yay.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, do you have anything else to say?
I don't. Enjoy and happy, healthy eating.
Yes, happy, healthy eating.